I'm Jeffrey Johnson, and I'm redesigning reuse by turning single-use plastics into lifelong products. Plastic waste has grown into a huge issue, not only in the United States, but throughout the entire world. While some recycling systems have been effective at reducing waste, their processes must change in order to make them sustainable for the future. In order to make plastic recycling a viable and sustainable alternative to the landfill, it must be more efficient. My project aims to find better recycling methods and mitigate plastic pollution by providing a sustainable replacement for single-use plastics. During the short history of plastic creation, we've generated over 6 billion tons of plastic waste, and prior to 2015, only 9% of that was being recycled. Today, still a quarter of all plastic is being incinerated like this pile shown here. The burning of plastics is extremely costly for our environment and releases many toxic gases into the atmosphere. Some of these gases include dioxins, furans, mercury, polychlorinated biphenyls, commonly known as BCPs, and can pose an immediate threat to vegetation, human and animal health, causing problems such as asthma, emphysema, rashes, nausea, headaches, an increased risk of heart disease and intense damage to the nervous system. Still, twice the amount that is incinerated ends up in our landfills, where it can take thousands of years to fully decompose and work itself back into the environment again. Plastic pollution is putting our beaches, parks, waterways, oceans, lakes, forests, streams, creeks, and every other piece of our environment you can think of under more stress. Throughout time, that buildup of stress can lead to major issues in our ecosystem, most commonly contributing to climate change. Some of the pollutants I'm choosing to focus on are single-use plastics that we use maybe once or twice over a short period of time. These can be plates, forks, napkins, straws, and other seemingly small items that can cause a major impact on our environment. While eliminating all single-use plastics seems like it might be the obvious answer, there's still many people and groups that rely on single-use products for their accessibility. After learning about the problems, the pollution causes in our environment, and the necessity of some of the single-use products, it brought me to the question, what could be the most effective way to convert single-use plastics into products designed for a lifetime of use? And that's when I decided to start my project. Recycling plastic was nothing new, but the processes were dated and had to change in order to be sustainable for the future. The types of products that we can make from recycled plastic are usually so limited that we end up wasting opportunities to incorporate this recycled material back into our everyday lives. In order to change these processes, I first had to educate myself about the different types of plastic, how they form and interact with one another, how they melt, and most importantly, how they reform. The idea of recycling wasn't very popular until the 1980s. In 1988, the U.S. Society of the Plastic Industry created a Council for Solid Waste Solutions in order to sell the idea of plastic recycling to the public. Before that time, it just did not make sense, or it was labeled as infeasible for countries and companies to recycle something that was so easy to obtain. It was at the same time that the Council actually created the resin codes 1 through 7 that we'll see in this figure. This table provides some common applications, as well as helping you identify the type of plastic that you may be recycling. It also shows melting and glass transition temperatures, which is crucial in order to reuse and recycle plastic. This table can be a great resource in understanding the basics of different plastic polymers. Because each of the 7 types of plastic are all different, they must be recycled differently and separately, which is another large barrier for recycling companies. With the help of resin codes, people were able to recycle a higher amount of plastic much more efficiently. This saw huge demand in the recycling industry, pushing large companies like Waste Management to create new systems for recycling. They generally started out with collection, of course, through their vehicles or various recycling centers. And then the next step would be sorting, usually using that guide with the 7 different plastics, and they would separate them by thickness, color, type, and putting like items together so that they could be melted and recycled more efficiently. The next step would be washing all the plastics to remove impurities and make sure that it's all able to be processed and turned into new products. After that, it would be shredding down the plastics into usable size. This can then be directly melted into new products, or it can be compounded into pellets. These can then be shipped out to people to melt on their own, or they can be sent directly to manufacturers to make new plastic products. Once the plastic has been officially processed and either shredded or turned into pellets, it's ready to be melted down again and reused by turning it into new products. There's a few different ways that you can do this. One machine that's commonly used is called a sheet press. This uses heat and a lot of pressure to make sheets of plastic that can be up to 10 by 10 feet wide. Another tool is an extrusion press machine. This commonly heats up and presses out thin piece of plastic in any desired shape, but it can also make I-beams used in buildings and other structures. Another interesting piece about extrusion machines is that they can produce 3D filament that you can coil up and use in any 3D printer. And finally, you have the method which I've chosen to be the most efficient and useful in creating a wide gamut of different products. This is injection molding. And essentially, you have a hopper on the top that can hold pellets or shredded plastic material. This then gets heated up and pushed through with a ton of force into a mold. This can usually result in a quick drying time and creates fairly accurate products. It's a really great way to make a lot of high quality products in a short amount of time. I use the templates that I found on preciousplastic.com to build and design my own injection molding machine. After I create a durable prototype, I can then create a mold and hook it up directly to the injection molding machine in order to make a higher volume of products. These molds must be made out of a metal or another extremely strong material because the pressure going through the injection molding machine ranges from 10,000 to 15,000 psi. Right now, there are already a few companies making products from recycled plastic. Those companies include, but are not limited to, Rothy's, Green Toys, Pilot, and Architect. Rothy's, for example, turns plastic water bottles into a thread that they use to make their shoes and bags with. They also use an algae-based foam and other natural or recycled materials in their products. Like me, they believe in purposeful products made to serve a greater purpose once they leave the factory. Green Toys is another company using recycled materials to make their products. High-density polyethylene, HDPE, is the most common plastic used in their manufacturing because it's so easy to clean and collect. This company even uses cardboard packaging, which I plan to incorporate into my products. The writing and office supply company Pilot now offers its famous G2 pens in a bottled pen housing instead of their original plastic shell. While only one small product, this pen has inspired me to pursue my project and find better alternatives to single-use plastic. Natural substitutes and recycled plastic are what's behind the EcoSmart collection from Architect. This brand offers spoons, bowls, and cutting boards made from recyclable and sustainable materials. While they only offer a few kitchen items, they're still progressing towards a more sustainable future of recycled products. What makes their products different from the ones I'm proposing was that other than some cups and pens and bowls, they're not really everyday items. With that being said, I plan to draw as much inspiration from all of their processes and unique expertise on the subject. The companies I just talked about, as well as some of the others that I researched for this project, have given me so much inspiration into what is possible in the recycling world. Right now, I have quite a few products on my radar, which I'd like to create next. These range from cutlery and combs to paperweights and paper clips, building blocks, bags, phone cases, vases, chairs, furniture, even glasses, frames, and outlet covers, and just a whole bunch of different things you wouldn't even think that you use in your everyday life that could be converted from wasteful, single-use products or things destined for the landfill and turned into something that you could use every single day. Reusing plastic to create more sustainable products is not my only goal. The larger picture is creating a community of like-minded people that care about the environment just as much as I do. The ultimate goal of my project is to reduce waste through design and to remove harmful plastics from our environment. Other than personally collecting the plastic, I plan on implementing a few other methods of recycling. Community-based waste management is a concept I learned about from Smart City's website. This usually involves collaborating with government agencies, non-government organizations, and the communities affected by the waste. This method is a great way to increase awareness of pollution while also unifying communities through cleanup events. In addition to a community-based waste management program, I plan to incorporate an incentive system to those that recycle their plastic. Individuals would have the option to receive a discount on a future product or receive an instant reward. I believe that turning single-use plastics into lifelong products is important because it has an opportunity to impact every living creature on this planet. Plastic pollution is a major problem in our world today, and through this process of reuse, we have a chance to mitigate that damage.